Hi, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. I'm so happy to be here today with Laura Hackle. Laura Hackle works within my programs and helps me to coach people within the programs. When Laura and I were talking this week, we noticed something really interesting happening, which was people were living in reaction to what was showing up in their lives rather than living in the co-creative mode. I don't know how many people have lived their lives this way. And I know that at times we fall into that because life is coming at us so fast that we're reacting to whatever is showing up on in our lap at that moment, and we're not in the intentional co-creating energy. So I asked Laura to join us today to talk about what we do to help people shift into co-creative energy. So Laura, first of all, what have you been noticing? And I said in my groups, but really what I meant was we are opening ourselves up for a lot of calls, and we've been taking lots and lots of calls every few months. I open up the lines to give out free coaching because my goal and passion is to really help people make movement in their lives. And Laura also enjoys that, so she's been taking some of those calls. So I just wanted to set the context straight about where we were seeing this showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks, Marianne, for having me. And you know what's fascinating is that what I see is that we're trained to solve problems, right? So I am an excellent problem solver. You're an excellent problem solver. Like that's where sometimes our value comes from. So we're looking for problems to solve. And we're sort of waiting for problems to come to us to solve. And we forget like that it's within us to actually create whatever we want. Or if you were like me when I started this work, so my journey with Marianne started 20 something years ago. And it was more like, it didn't feel safe for me to have wants and needs in the world, right? So if I don't have wants and needs, then of course I'm not going to go create something, because creating something means I have to be out in the world. So, what we're seeing as people are calling in is that some people are really clear about, hey, this is what I want in my life. So they want joy, they want happiness, they want financial freedom. Like the word freedom is really big. And it's sort of like, it starts with like, okay, how can I have freedom in my life as it is today? And what we love to do, right? And I learned this from you, Marianne, is blow the doors off of the life today and say, how do I get to live the life? Like, what would freedom look like in my life? For me, this has been my summer of adventure. I think I have spent more time not in my own house and in my own bed and traveling all over and working and, just like soaking up the juiciness of life. And so that's what's so available to everyone.
I love that, Laura, especially this idea about how we got trained and what safety looked like. So safety looked like playing within lanes, right? Like this is the lane, this is where you'll play, this is how you know how to play. And it did not look like going out, taking bold moves, doing things that you really were passionate about. And you had no idea what the results would be, but you were ready to give it your all anyways. And that's what creating your life or being in co-creator energy is about. It's about this idea that you get to create exactly how you want to live your life, the way you want to live your life, sometimes with whom you want to live your life with. And if you hold on to that every day and believe it to your core, that what you are experiencing in your life is what you're creating, then it gives you more and more motivation to be super clear around what you want to create. So I know personally in my life, if suddenly things aren't going well, I ask myself the question, what am I creating? What belief is coming up for me that's causing this kind of result? Because it's different than the result I desire. And the idea that you have skills and tools to keep asking yourself the question, because I also have run into a lot of people that have said, I did that. I set my intention. I went out. I did it. I read this book. I did all the things they said, and it didn't work. And what I said is, when you noticed it wasn't working, what skills did you have in place to analyze it, or to look at it, or to understand what energy you were actually putting out? So you were saying you wanted something, but your energy was saying something totally different. And I think if we don't have those skills, then it becomes harder and harder for us to co-create what we want. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And the other part is like, most of us can't do this alone because we can't see our own stuff. Like, we don't even notice sometimes that we're stuck in the muck. Like, we notice it when it gets big enough outside of us. And most of us, I mean, speaking for me, I've had over 50 years of doing it a certain way or training in a certain way. So when I want to shift something, I also need the community. And like, that's who you are for me very often, being like, look at that. Look at what just came out of your mouth. Like, that doesn't sound like a life of freedom. That doesn't sound like, what you're asking for. And so it's this idea of like putting yourself in position to have time in your calendar to be elevating your vibration, to be clear about what you want. And I would say the first, I don't know, maybe 5 years that I worked with you, I still wasn't exactly sure what I wanted, but what I learned was to follow that next thing right in front of me. And that next thing right in front of me opened up the next thing right in front of that, and the next and the next and the next. And that was a beautiful opening until I built enough muscle to be like, ooh, I can have dreams. Like, I can have wants. I can have desires. Like, it's safe to be me in the world. And so it doesn't really matter how you get there. It's this beautiful stepwise process that's possible.
Yes, absolutely. And so one of the things that I wanted to offer up to this community is to call us. If you feel like you have a dream, you have a passion that you want to go after, and you're feeling stuck or even overwhelmed because your dream might be huge. And sometimes our dreams are, and then we don't know how to take the first step. And a lot of times people tend to turn away from their dream because they don't know how to take the first step. And I love what Laura said, is that sometimes it's just taking one step and seeing what opens up next, and then following that step and seeing what opens up next. But if that's you, if you have a dream, if you have a passion to create something in this world, and you need some support on how to elevate yourself, elevate your energy, or change your mindset so that you can move into that dream, give us a call, because we are all about co-creating our lives with the universe rather than reacting to life.
Yeah, and we don't judge you because we've all been there, and we all continue to have our next dream that we go after. So we get it.
Yeah.
And we just want to support. There's such a joy in supporting others to be free.
Right. And there is no judgment, because even today, after all the training that I've done and the work I've done on myself, there's always something that I might stumble over because I keep reaching for more and more. And every time we reach for more and more, something else gets uncovered that might hold us back and stop us. The other thing I want to speak about, Laura said, we can't do it on our own. I agree. It's so much easier to do it in community for two reasons. One is, not only do you have other like-minded people that are trying to move along too, but the second is around energy. Each of us has our own personal energy field. Then the group that we're all involved with, who are trying to move forward in life, has a group conscious collective of energy. And if we're tied to that as well, we get more momentum behind us to move us forward, to help support us, to attract what it is that we desire to us. So there's always two components to creating what you desire. One is in the energetics, and then the second is in your belief system. And if you can master both of them, there'll be no stopping you. And if you have the skills to know when you do get stopped because you're going to the next level, what do you need to do to investigate why you feel stuck? And then you get to move forward. Laura, would you have anything that you wanted to add to that? On Nikki, do you have anything you'd like to add?
The only thing I'd add is, like, we talked about creating versus waiting. Like, and so one of the things we see is people wait. Like, I talked to somebody a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then I talked to them again, and they've made these teeny tiny steps, and so much more is possible. So it's this whole idea of like really looking at, well, where in life do you wait? Do you wait for permission? Do you wait for others to say like, yes, you can do it? Do you wait until you have all the finances lined up? Do you wait until you know the plan? Or do you say, this is what I'm going to create and I'm going to go for it? And so the people that just hop right into it, like they are getting massive changes. They are having 10, like multiplying finances. They are deepening connections with families. They are creating valuable businesses in the world. They are living with this sense of freedom because they created. And that's what's possible for you.
I love that. All right, everyone. Well, I love your questions, and we will talk to you soon. Have a fantastic week. Bye.